It's the summer of revitalization at cinemas all across America. Not only did Despicable Me 4, Inside Out 2, and Twisters now show folks the way to come through the doors, but Deadpool and Wolverine, now expected by me and by some others to blow away every single record you've ever seen when it comes to an R-rated film, and it all comes down to anti-woke. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel that's changing hearts and minds simply by telling the truth, explaining entertainment, keeping you ahead of the culture curve is a job that we do. Today, we're going to be talking about what is happening, what is driving audiences to the box office in a way that few predicted. And as we do, folks, you might consider clicking the like button, but you might also consider clicking the like button for Twisters. At least, that's what cinema owners and operators are doing because Twisters is filling their coffers as folks are rushing headfirst against the wind into movie theaters to see this 90s sequel standalone. By the way, welcome, Stephen. Welcome back to the channel.
It's very nice to be here.
Folks, Stephen is the graphic artist behind everything that we do here on the channel, as well as on Valiant Renegade. And Stephen also does all kinds of gaming live streams and just fantastic analysis. Stephen, we're so happy that you've returned for today.
Thank you. I'm proud to show off what my future VTube model will be looking like in the future, right there in the PFP.
BEA Beautiful. Now, folks, it's BEA Beautiful also for everybody involved in movie making because Twisters is outperforming what people had expected. And of course, this is coming on the heels of an outpacing June. June far better than what anybody had thought was going to happen. That's largely due to the fact that Inside Out 2 is a smash hit, a home run, a grand slam with audiences. And to continue the sports references, that was followed up with Despicable Me 4, which is a slam dunk. Now we've got Twisters doing what it's doing. And I saw the movie yesterday. Stephen, when did you see it?
I saw it yesterday, too, in the comfort of a supposed theater. I'm going to leave it with air quotes. But it was pretty much the same formula as we got back in the 90s. Some roles were swapped, but other than that, it was Twisters all over again. And
I definitely saw it in theaters and had my delicious diet soda sitting by my side. Sorry, folks, if that scares you, but the bubbles are not so scary. We've got an article here about Twisters. I want to read this real quick, and then we're going to get into why I think this portends Deadpool and Wolverine smashing records. I mean, and by the way, this also has to do with the trailer that was released for Deadpool and Wolverine. But folks, I'm here to tell you, I think that Deadpool and Wolverine is going to absolutely just smash everything. Anyway.
It is.
Yes. This is out of the Hollywood Reporter by Pamela McClintock and Aaron Couch. It says, box office, Twisters whipping up huge storm with a record $74.6 million domestic opening. The film would mark the biggest start ever for a natural disaster pick and is the latest summer event movie to exceed forecasts. All right, so it goes on to talk about this movie, and I've seen it. You've seen it, Stephen. It's got a decent 77% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 92% audience score, and it's got an A- from Cinema Score. Those are fine. Of course, I don't put much stock in Rotten Tomatoes. But anyway, the Cinema Score at A- is good, but not great. But, Stephen, you saw the movie. You liked it. I saw it. I think it's average to slightly above average. I think it's a popcorn flick that you can have on in the background. You can enjoy it. But I think that it is almost entirely devoid of messaging, while at the same time, Stephen, it is very, very softly of the era. And I'll explain and you tell me what you think about it.
Okay. I agree.
So, in the original Twister, of course, all the roles are traditional. In this new Twisters, the girl is girl boss, except that she's gone through trauma, but she's still girl boss, and everybody, has to learn from girl boss, and girl boss saves the day. And that's mitigated a little bit because the movie veers into Notebook territory. And it's much more romantic than the first one, by far more romantic. But it's also, a traditional heterosexual romance kind of thing. And, so I think what they've done here, and they kept away from any kind of climate change or messaging that might get them in trouble or be divisive around the world. I think the message here, Stephen, is we've seen this with Inside Out 2. We've seen this with Despicable Me 4. We saw it with Top Gun Maverick. We saw it with Avatar. I mean, I can keep going if we want to go. I mean, we've seen it over and over. If you will stay away from messaging, the audiences will come roaring back to your cinemas. And I think Hollywood finally has gotten the message. What do you think?
Well, if I come into a theater after paying about $50 or $60 for everything, and I'm not getting yelled at after the previews, I think they did a good job. Yeah, I agree with that.
What was your opinion on Twisters? How did you take the movie?
Twisters is pretty much, it's kind of like the jock going after the nerd girl, because nerd girl went to city girl because of trauma. They're doing it kind of like a classic kind of storyline, but at the same time they're just swapping roles, and it played off nicely because they were a good duo. The same way Helen Hunt and the other, was it Bill Paxton?
Yes.
Bill Paxton, how they played off each other. It's the same type of thing, but they just swapped it around. Like even the mom house scene was kind of like similar in a way.
Yes.
Yeah, they did a lot of nods to the original Twister.
Did original nods, but of course it's a standalone sequel. That's what they're calling it. All right. So if you stay away from the woke messaging, and I'm gonna clarify this, folks, for those of you who might be doubters. Go back to Wish, go back to Strange World, go back to Lightyear. Those films are distinctly woke. There's no questioning. They are very woke, and they made nothing. I mean, they're huge, colossal failures. The Marvels, Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny, clearly woke. No doubt about it. They're definitely woke. Financial disasters, tremendous, huge disasters, like flaming piles of garbage disaster. Okay? And then Disney put out Inside Out 2. And despite our qualms that they were going to normalize anxiety, they played it about as well as you could if you were going to go with anxiety. Now, I still think for merchandising purposes, it was stupid. They should have called it worry or whatever. And they did that across the world in other places. But that movie made $1.3 billion. The difference in Inside Out 2 and Lightyear and Strange World is not animation. Now, Wish is an abomination at every level, but the difference in Inside Out 2 and those movies is not quality, it's not animation, it's the message. That's it. That is the difference. And you can see the difference is about $1 billion in how you will perform if you go woke and according to SoCal values versus if you are universal across the world and you stick with what you want. Now, that's what happened with Twisters, is that it stayed away from controversy. It wasn't divisive. It didn't try to preach. It didn't try to proselytize. And boom, we saw what happened. Now, here's why I think Deadpool and Wolverine, Stephen, could absolutely blow everything away. Up until this final trailer, I had some real doubts about this movie, not in terms of its financial success, but in terms of the direction that it was taking. I thought it was going to be so raunchy and so slapstick that it was going to lose the character of Wolverine. Having seen the trailer, I no longer believe that to be true. If the final trailer is indicative of this movie, then we're going to have a hard R raunchy film that also has heart. And that is the most dangerous thing in terms of separating money from wallets in the world, is when you have something that's hardcore funny, hardcore gross, and yet still has a heart in the middle of it. That's why, and looking right here, Stephen, at the Box Office Pro numbers, they are now projecting that Deadpool and Wolverine will top $180 million in its opening domestic weekend. Stephen, I think, based on that trailer, based on the idea that this is not going to be woke, I think this movie will be the highest grossing R-rated film of all times if it just does not go woke. What do you think?
I agree with you. There's a lot of things to look at this trailer. Let's look at how Ryan Reynolds, now my today, Ryan Reynolds has delivered this. The way he delivers Wolverine as a character, he looks at him as a hero as well in his universe. You can see it by you were the X-Man. You also have the fan base that have been waiting 20 years to see him in the classic blue and yellow costume. We're getting that as well. You have Xbox coming out with a detachable butt cheeks for a controller. You have the popcorn buckets. You have all of this thing going down, and you have little hints and little nods everywhere. And that lady Deadpool little right there was like, oh yeah. There's enough in there that I think they understand how to do a Deadpool universe while trying to maintain the Disney, but not make it Disney like Lightyear or Strange World was. This might be the magic that they need for a great opening.
And I think that's why those who want to promote wokeism, postmodernism, neo-Marxism, the people who are in favor of those things, I think they should dread this mightily. In fact, this whole summer should strike fear in them. And I think they're trying to change the narrative, Stephen. I've noticed they've been doing articles saying, those who say that it's about woke, they're wrong, and here's why. And it's like, you feel very defensive about this. We just got out of The Acolyte. I know it's not a movie, but it's the epitome of woke. It is as far as I think you could possibly take it, to the point that becoming evil is shown to be good because it's a power it's a power stance. It's the oppressed taking power, and even if it's evil, then so be it, because that's good now. Like, there is no truth, there is no right, there is no wrong, and choking out your adoptive father is a good thing. The Acolyte has essentially failed in the most epic ways possible. And yet now we're about to get Deadpool and Wolverine. I think there's a juxtaposition here that needs to happen. I think we need to contrast these. What happened with The Acolyte versus what's about to happen with Deadpool and Wolverine. And the only caveat I give this, Stephen, is if Deadpool and Wolverine comes out and tricks me and it's actually woke, then, you know, I'll change my position and change my forecast. But if it sticks to that trailer, then this is the perfect example, even inside Disney, where they hate this stuff. And in fact, I bet they hate Deadpool and Wolverine seethingly secretly. But if it comes out and it's not woke, we need to compare it every day to The Acolyte and to all the woke stuff that came out in the years past that destroyed the box office and almost tanked the entire industry.
Well, yeah, the good relatability would be this towards the next Captain America when it comes out too, and see the differences in delivery and entertainment. At the same time, if Deadpool and Wolverine do kick butt, then we can all scream the power of many and actually use it for the proper use.
That's right. Well, the just the power of many is going to be many, many dollars, because take a look at that.
Yeah.
On this on Box Office Pro, if this thing gets anywhere close to $200 million on the domestic opening, this is easily a $1 billion movie. And for an R-rated movie, that's hard to do.
Yeah. If this becomes the love letter that last trailer gave us, could be from Reynolds as well as Hugh Jackman, I think it's going to be magic. And it's not like I'm throwing all my eggs in one basket. I'm still going to be standing back. But I got excited. But again, a trailer says a million things and can also say nothing. So we'll just have to wait and see on the first day. And I hope it's what we're seeing. I think everyone is, because we need that after Acolyte.
And can I just say one more thing on Twisters before we go, Stephen?
Go ahead.
Stephen, were you like me, that when all the characters except essentially one, but one and a half, got offed in the first 5 minutes, my thought was, oh, thank goodness, I don't have to watch all of them for the rest of the movie. I was so scared they were going to be here the whole time. They annoy me so much. They all died, and I thought, well, that's better for the movie.
Literally, after the last person got swept away, I literally just said, that sucks, and just kept going.
I didn't. I was actually leaned over to the person with me in the theater and whispered and said, well, this is going to be a better movie now.
It is. It didn't feel like it was turning into like an Archie adventure at the beginning.
I know. I was like, oh no, this is like a woke Scooby-Doo. Yeah. And then they switched it up for us. So thank you for that, Twisters. Thank you so much for that.
Even Dorothy wanted to get away from that scene.
Well, Stephen, thank you for stopping by today. It's been a great time. And folks, we hope you're having a great weekend. Stephen, tell the folks out there where they can find you on this great, big, beautiful web, outside of all the amazing art you do right here. And again, folks, I'll say it again, I mean it. Stephen's the greatest YouTube thumbnail artist in the world. Stephen, where are you?
Thank you. That little bit of ego goes a long way. You can find me on Rumble. I eventually get to start back on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at FatStephenJFG. Just keep an eye out for me and just say, hey, it's been a fun time today.
There you go, folks. All right, it's your turn. Do not be a passive admirer of the video, if you are an admirer at all, but instead take an active role. Click the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms, it is the notification bell, drop a comment down below, let us know your thoughts, and share this sucker out on your favorite social media platforms. We would love for you to send this far and wide. You're the Gigawatts. All right, folks, we want to thank you again for your support of Vacation Radio. We will be having announcements soon about new radio stations we'll be launching on YouTube with original content, and of course, the goal is eventually to get to the point where we create animated shorts, because we want to get in the game. We think that some of the companies out there in entertainment decided to leave the game, and we're happy to get in and make great content for you. All right, folks, until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
You'd better hang on to your feathers, little bird. They need to put you in the show.
What? Jose, what are you listening to? You don't even have ears.
Vacation Radio, 24/7, Original music on YouTube. Vacation Radio. WDW Pro's music channel.
I have no idea what you're saying. But if you want to be listening to music, you should head over to Vacation Radio 24/7 on YouTube. One of the 100 other channels WDW Pro's been working on. Oh, and I have a song for you, Jose. Jose Cowabunga. He is Jose Cowabunga.
He's Jose.
That one seems a little bit foreign to you.